I'm reaching for the star, the ones I've seen for so long. My heart, my soul all around. I try to remember a time that we shared the laughter and love. The laughter and love that we always shared. He gave his life for mine, and I will always mourn my brother.
is XboxEra. We're an independent, community-funded publication focused on providing the best coverage and discussion of your favourite platform, Xbox. With best-in-class forums, a kick-ass Discord server, and awesome merch, XboxEra.com is your destination for the best news, reviews, and features focused on what you care about. With shows like the XboxEra podcast, headlines, and a whole heap of Patreon-exclusive content, we're proud to be an independent publication completely funded by you. If you value a third place to play, you can become one of the cool kids by supporting us directly via patreon.com/XboxEra. You get cool swag and awesome perks, and we get to keep doing what we do. Become a part of the best Xbox community on the internet and help us grow even larger. Thank you for your support. This is Everything XboxEra does is only made possible by our community and the growing army of incredible Patreon supporters. Our executive producers and MVPs are an amazingly generous bunch, only shown up by the incredible support of our grand benefactors, Cryat56 and Assassin Entertainment. All of this under the watchful eye of our lovely XboxEra CEO, Torn Raptor. This community is the best one on the internet, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. Just head to patreon.com/XboxEra and pledge your support. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of XboxEra Headlines. My name is John, and the date today is April 24th, 2025. It's a good day because it is my son's 11th birthday today. And it also marks the anniversary of 11 years of not smoking. If we lived in an alternate timeline, the intro to this episode would be, "Good evening, everybody." No, I won't do that joke. That's a Bill Hicks joke. That's not okay. It's not politically correct in today's society. But today, we're going to talk about video games and stuff from everything from across the industry. Although the industry is pretty focused on like a couple of things right now. But as a bonus for our wonderful patrons, we make audio versions of these episodes available to them to listen to via Patreon in their preferred podcast app. But if you're on Spotify, you can link your account and listen to it there instead. If you want to become an awesome individual and all-round good human being, head to patreon.com/XboxEra. Hey, Jesse. It's Thursday. Sorry about yesterday. Kind of left you in the lurch a little bit.
Little bit.
Reports
Oh,
of
my heart. Oh, no.
Been greatly exaggerated. I am okay. For those that reached out and sent good vibes, the good news is everything's fine. Physically, I'm a perfect specimen.
You kept calm. You carried on.
That's right.
You minded the gap.
That's true. I do have some blood pressure hiccups to sort out, but
Bill hiccups.
met with the met with the doctor this morning. Got some new medication. Should be fine. And obviously, just got to monitor the old stress levels.
Yeah. Just got to win the lottery and they're gone.
Yeah, or have the card game be a resounding success.
Once it's available next month on Amazon in the US and the UK. Oh,
mate, you should see me this morning trying to wrangle the Amazon store. What an absolute hot piece of garbage their seller side application is. But on the plus side, Americans, Canadians, Mexicans that have ordered Console Wars the card game, I'm pleased to say it is there now. It is at the fulfillment center. I actually expect shipping notifications to go out later today.
Nick hurt his foot making his room look nice. He wants everyone to know.
He did. He showed me his foot.
I have a picture. I could show it, but we get demonetized for being too sexy.
Yes, that's absolutely true. It is attached to Nick. Ergo, it's a dangerous thing to show live on camera. But it's really lovely to see everybody in the chat. Much love to everybody. It's been a great fucking week in video games. Holy crap! Where do we start?
I was right. God damn it! You
Clair
guys
Obscur.
were all questioning me all the time about this freaking game.
And a little bit of insider knowledge here. Jesse, didn't have many people to talk to.
No one.
About how much he was like, oh my god, and I have to be careful because spoilers. But effectively, he was like, I just need to talk to someone about this, and he just had to give me a ring and be like, "Do you care about this?" I was like, "No, you can spoil it." And he was like, "Oh my god, this has happened, and this is." I was like, "This is interesting." That is quite the
so
plot.
everyone knows the premise of Clair Obscur, Expedition 33 from the trailer. An indeterminate amount of time, this area in the sea was this city was split in half, with most of it going off into the sea in something called the Fracture. At that point, a giant monolith and this enormous figure called the Paintress appeared, and every time they would wave their hand at a number, it would change down, and everyone of that age or older died. And so you have been going out for 70 plus years as a society trying to stop the Paintress from ever painting death again. And it's an amazing premise that is just the beginning to one of my favorite stories I've ever experienced. And I don't just mean like video games, or I mean like video games, movies, TV, books. Like it's up there with how good the plot gets. And the only negative reviews I've seen have just been around maybe getting a little tired of the combat, because, you know, it is a basic turn-based system that you do for 30 to 60 hours. But it's a really good one. So those people are probably very bad at parrying, because if you're good at parrying, they're very fast fights.
Yeah, I've heard from like other places that there's a big focus on almost rhythm to a degree, and it's kind of the big highlight for Clair Obscur is it's almost flipped the stereotypical kind of redundant turn-based system that lots of RPGs have shied away from into an evolution of that, where it's actually, okay, this is really great again.
One thing, it's kind of hard to say exactly without spoiling anything, but every character, and there's eventually 6 different party members, although 2 are pretty similar in how they play, but each of them is essentially a different JRPG game combat system for that character. Like an entire other game that they're pulling from.
Awesome.
So much of Clair Obscur is really smartly taking the best parts of JRPGs, but wrapping it in something I think is far more sensible for Western writing, because it's it's incredibly written. It's really funny, which I wasn't expecting. Like, legitimately, I laughed multiple times while playing it. Funny. The voice acting is amazing. I went through each person doing the voice because they are so important for it. Ben Starr, again, another big turn. He's Verso, a very mysterious character. You don't really know much about him, but he's really good. Charlie Cox as Gustav, amazing. Jennifer English as Mael just is like everything for the game. She is essentially the main character.
Interesting.
But Andy Serkis as Renoir. Mike. It's almost like that guy is kind of good at voice acting or something.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah.
I mean, I been a big Andy Serkis fan since Lord of the Rings. Thought he was great in Enslaved: Odyssey to the West, which is a game I would really love to like replay again. I really need to get around to that.
Your retro review.
But even I've downloaded this. I haven't started it yet. I was dabbling in other things, but it does look super interesting, and the fact that it's brought a rhythm element into the turn-based combat has my interest. I'm piqued. I'm like,
yeah, it's so essentially the story is a story. You're in between each segment. I mean, it is a game Nick should not touch, because it is all about telling you the story in cutscenes, and it'll do stuff while you're walking around. You see people talking. It says what they're saying in the bottom, but the majority of the story is cutscenes, and from the cutscene you then walk around, there's enemies, you can hit right bumper and you get the first attack in combat. There's a really deep character setup system for your Pictos, which are essentially 6 different passive buffs you can have set per character. As you use those 4 times in a fight, they unlock as a Lumina, which just means you can then use them with all the other characters as an extra set of passive buffs, which aren't tied to a number of amount, but are tied to like a whole leveling system of their own. Eventually I had like over 150 Lumina points on everyone, so I could have most of the Luminas I had unlocked on them, which really let you vary up and power up, and you constantly feel that ramp while you're also setting the skills and Like I ended up doing a full-on lightning build where everyone was focusing on getting lightning, but then that wasn't great for characters who aren't weak to lightning and are resistant to it. So I could also quickly swap over to a fire build I had and that type of stuff. It's deep without ever being overwhelming or focused on getting just tons of gear. You always have the same armor. You're just changing your weapon for the most part. Like everything about it's super smart, super refined, and it was 30 people. 30 people.
I mean,
it's
I think
not
that
AAA,
really, but it looks it.
Yep.
Right. And this is gonna call it like you have right now. I retweeted a funny tweet I saw earlier, which said that this is the first JRPG.
It's an RPW.
Or an RPW, right? But this is two games from first-time developers, new teams that have come in at 92 on Metacritic each. So that's Blueprints and Clair Obscur.
Mm-hmm.
New teams, indies, highest-rated games of the year.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
if that's not making the big industry go, what the fuck are we doing?
well, that's what Matt Booty has talked about a lot in that friggin' like venture capital investment podcast he was on. That was actually a really good listen to. It was like they really want to. They have their teams. They've got their big AAA. They've got their AA. They've got their various sizes. But he's like, the games being made by these 1 to 10 person teams are insane. Like they're amazing for what they can do. And also from a business perspective, you're only paying 1 to 10 people instead of 300 to 400. So they have really focused on that, and I think they've done an incredible job of finding things like this for Game Pass. And it's Kepler who has been on Game Pass a bunch before, so yeah. I think that's also just a showpiece again that everyone's like, no, buy this game. You got to support them. Like I saw fucking people. I saw people in the industry still saying, no, you should just buy this game. Actually support the devs. And it's like
they've got money from the Game Pass.
The Game Pass deal is obviously supporting them, or else they wouldn't keep doing it. The publishers just want to make money. And then they do the deals because it's fine. If you want to buy it, cool. But also, if you're like, I have it on this service and it's on here and I'm going to play it, a lot of them probably also have the play per download thing. But
yeah,
it's a stunning looking game, but it does kind of run like ass on PC sometimes. I'll be interested to see what the 4090 does with it, so I'll let you know. It only really started hitting me at the end,
though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But it only really hit me at the end when I was in some of the later, bigger scope stuff, and it would start chugging, and I'm like, fuck, I can't parry. Shit, I can't parry. Because it would just start hitching when some amazing animation was going off from a endgame boss. But
nutshell to everyone in the chat, and I have to call this out. Jesse's review is live. It went live yesterday. If you haven't gone to XboxEra.com and actually scrolled through, I think it's fair to say that both Jesse and Predrag were so kind of like impressed with what this small team have done from an artistic perspective. And calling out in the chat, TJI says, I think you guys are forgetting there's an artistic nature to it. Not every dev team can pull these kinds of things off. There's a lot of money, so we're always going to get good, bad, and great games. You're not wrong, and I'll dive into that in a sec. But the artistic flair to Expedition 33 was so felt that
it's Jesse a game about
worked with Predrag on it.
Art in the long run. You'll see how as you play it, but so much of it is about art. So nailing the art side of things was definitely a good thing based on what the game itself is, the world itself is, and the story and all that. It is Unreal Engine 5. There's a link to the review. So I beat this 13 days ago, and I had the review done 11 days ago, and I had it done so early because they gave us 3 weeks with it, which is why seeing some people be like, I'm 5 hours in. It's like, man, they gave it to us almost a month ago. But I had so much time that I said to Predrag, hey, there's 10 days. You want to make this one look pretty? It's on Game Pass. And he was like, sure, why not? And then he just made it look absolutely stunning on the webpage.
I've had when we did what did we do? What's the first party that released?
South of Midnight.
Recently? Yeah, when we did the South of Midnight, I had someone from Microsoft go like, "Yo, have you guys changed your website design?" I was like, "No, it's just sometimes we get time."
Predrag jumps into Elementor and he just goes to town.
we do pretty things.
Even just that video at the top is just the YouTube trailer playing from YouTube, but he makes everything around it makes it look so good.
Yeah.
and he gets the speed on it right. Like, it's just so nice looking, man.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. But yeah, look, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is out now on Game Pass, on PlayStation.
Don't look into
PC.
the story.
Yeah, don't spoil it. Jump in. I'm gonna jump in now. Mostly, I have been spoiled, but I'm gonna jump in anyway because I love artistic.
You didn't even
games.
get all of it. You only got the early one.
The early one. So I'll get that out of the way.
Pretty much anyone who put out a review should have only done gameplay from Act 1. That's all my gameplay. Everything I show is just Act 1 and before. So nothing after that. I did not want to spoil anyone on anything that happens, anywhere you go, anything like that. Because it is a very smart JRPG in that it hits all the tropes, but it hits them in a more Western style that I think people are going to be used to. It's super anime without ever going, oh, and crying, having 1,000-year-old witches that look 12. Like, it just translates better. Like, I don't think Final Fantasy VII Rebirth translated well to English, and the cadence at which people speak and the way they talk just comes off horribly to me. As where this is like some of my best favorite French-Glish cinema, because I watched it. I played it with the English dub because the voice cast was so good. I cannot recommend it enough. Just try not to get spoiled on it. There are some super cool things that happen that hit me very hard because I wasn't expecting them. I was like, no way, type of stuff. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Go play it, folks. I mean, there's a couple of things to talk about here in conjunction with this, and it kind of links to the next story, really, which is Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered is out. They did shadow drop it. It took the world by storm. Everyone is delighted. It is Oblivion still, but in the best kind of re-wrapper that you could possibly imagine, with some seriously nice visuals. Still a game from 2006. But it did. I think you've put here over 180,000.
It was 182, I believe, on Steam database.
I thought I saw a graphic that said 300,000. I might.
No. Starfield did 330, so it peaked yesterday at 190,119 people. And if it's anything,
maybe it was the Starfield one I saw.
Yeah, Starfield was 330. In Starfield, that was 1/4 because they were over 1 million. They're like 1.2 or 1.3 million, I think, at max. And Starfield max at 330K. So between Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, this could have been near 1 million concurrents. Who knows? It's done very well.
It's a classic game that had
and
a
it's
lot
still
of
that game
favorite love,
despite all those people yelling at me.
Yeah, like Jesse played around 10 hours, and look,
I streamed it all too.
Jesse has also played a lot of Oblivion previously when it was originally released. So perfectly legitimate to do a review of the remaster.
I think it's because people think it's a remake, and it's not. They didn't remake the game. You don't have to go through the whole thing to know it's still Oblivion with a full graphical remake on top of it. Yeah, like it's Unreal Engine 5 running on top of Gamebryo. It wasn't even Creation Engine back then. But they've tweaked it. They've changed the locomotion a bit. They've added a little bit of animation and sound effects when you hit people for a change. Like it's been modernized, but it's still the same game. Everything works the same. All the console commands are the exact same. All the mods people had made for Oblivion still work on this one.
I saw people playing it in VR already. Yeah. Like that's phenomenal. I'm particularly impressed, and I've heard people saying that there's a bunch of performance issues with Oblivion, but like I've been running it, and it's virtually a locked 120 FPS.
Yeah,
everything on ultra.
Yeah,
the only thing I thought was dodgy was screen space reflection.
Yeah, they pick up your sword if you're holding it in your hand. It's a weird bug.
Hellblade. That's an Unreal Engine 5 bug, I think, because in Hellblade 2 it does it in rare moments. But yeah.
It's got one of the most ridiculously over-the-top character creators where you can just make absolute monsters.
I've got to show it. You know, I've spoken about my mate Bart. Whenever there's a character creator, he will do his best to make the most awful-looking thing. And here it is, a new hero. I hate him.
I did do it, Chambo. So you can see I'm wearing the gear you get from the quest because I bought the deluxe upgrade. Because why not?
Yeah, for a tenner, why not?
Yeah.
If you're a fan of Oblivion,
If
jump
you're
in.
watching the review and you wonder why the music isn't Oblivion music, it's because it was, but then they pinged it, so I overrode it with YouTube audio music.
Yeesh.
Yeah. They didn't ping the main song, like the main thing I did the friggin' montage on, they didn't. Also, Clair Obscur, I did 2 montages in case people didn't know. One at the beginning and one after the score, because the music was too good.
Yeah,
I had to.
It happens.
But it's probably the best remaster I've ever played. Like, just from the amount that they have fixed and changed up and done, it's crazy. The UI is infinitely better than it used to be.
Yeah. Like, I played Oblivion back in the day, and I can actually find my way around this UI. I still dislike Bethesda for putting jump on Y, but outside of that,
by the way, if you don't know, you can hold the interact button and drag people around and still have fun. So, like, if you hold A on them, you can just yoink them around. It's always fun.
It is. I think this is setting the bar, for like this is the kind of stuff that does bring old classics back into modern eras in a way that just simply re-releasing it or even remaking it doesn't. Like, because I love the fact that they've left all the stupid voice lines in where they flub things, and they've let the bugs be, because it is the original game. It's not been remade.
And they knew what people like. Like, the jank is a lot of fun in this one.
Yeah.
They just got rid of they changed up or fixed the things that
nice
didn't.
Horse armor.
Yeah. I eventually did get the other horse armor as well. I don't think I have a video of it though. But this is very similar to the Demon's Souls remake that they called it, when that was also a remaster because it was running on the original game with a new graphical layer and a bunch of gameplay tweaks. Like, it's on that level.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Big congrats to Bethesda. And there's been, you mentioned it a minute ago, the latest let's focus on this, talking about how cross the devs at Clair Obscur must be, because they've dropped the Oblivion and it's going to take away all of their flowers. But I've seen the social media accounts for both Bethesda and Clair Obscur kind of like riffing off of each other, and having fun with it. And like, the decision on when to publish is up to the publisher. Microsoft did not publish Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Would they have said, hey, heads up, we're going to be dropping something pretty big, and given that publisher the opportunity to move that date from a business perspective? Yeah, probably. Did the publisher go, no, we're fine? Because the publisher is releasing everywhere on everything, just like this game. And they're 2 different genres. They're RPGs, but one's turn-based combat. One is a 20-year-old game. Like, people like to make a big deal out of this stuff. And
they like to, because talking about games doesn't generate the interest and buzz that talking about rumors and stuff does. Like, there's only 92 people here because it was about the game Clair Obscur and not a rumor around it or console war. Like, is Clair, if the title had been, is Expedition 33 going to die because of Oblivion? Then there'd be like 300 people here. Like, that's generally what people click into.
Get in on the spice of that conversation. But there isn't a conversation to really be had. It's all conjecture.
It's just, I've seen people that are treating it like Microsoft should have pushed Clair Obscur or something. I'm like, it's not theirs. And they've had so many third-party Game Pass games get delayed. And they have so much of their own. What were they going to do? Move it back a couple weeks for Oblivion? You hit South of Midnight, move it up a couple weeks. Then you hit Doom.
Yeah.
Like, they have too much. And when shit's done, you normally want to put it out. And this had already been leaking nonstop. And then it came out, and it seemingly has done unbelievably well. And you look at Clair Obscur on a Thursday morning, it's already at 51,000 players on Steam. It's also on Xbox. It's also on PlayStation. Like, it's a tiny game with a small budget. It doesn't have to hit 1 million concurrents or like 10 million in sales to break even. It probably already has.
It's interesting. Press Engine released a report. If you guys don't know what Press Engine is, it's more for our wheelhouse. So this is a tool for PR companies and publishers and press to kind of obtain code and do events and stuff like that. It's excellent stuff. We had one of the leads of Press Engine, Gareth, on our show on the XboxEra podcast a few months back. But they actually produced a report that said specialist game websites like ours, you Eurogamers, etc., produced 13% fewer articles in Q1 this year. So the top 135 video game websites published 635,000 articles in Q1. And that's a drop of 13%, or more than 100,000 pieces of news or articles in general. And that can cover reviews and guides and features and other bits and pieces. Apparently, most of the drops were at guide-based publications, but they were rather large drops across IGN and GameSpot and Famitsu and Eurogamer. Why? Because people are being fired. And the reality is, the way you guys watching consume game news, and be honest with me, how many of you scroll through Twitter or Blue Sky or whatever social media app and you see an article with a headline and you don't click the article? You just take the news in as the headline and go and run with it. We all do it. I do it. I'm a human being, apparently, according to the tests yesterday. No. And that's a big problem. It's a big problem for talking about games. And it's such a shame that people would rather talk about the negatives and the sales numbers and the versus elements of the business than to actually celebrate the medium, celebrate how great video games are and how cool the stuff is that we get to play. And that sucks.
Yep.
I don't know what the solution is, by the way. I just think it's an interesting data point.
I mean, when people move away from a certain type of interaction because they got used to people who are very good at things being who they talk to about them, and they have an interaction with streamers that they don't have with most people that are just journalists. Because you have to be a specific level and a specific person to be able to be like a games journalist, and there's 3 or 4 of them left, really. And some of the bigger ones aren't the most likable, which I don't think also helps. But also when you're watching, the more and more interactions we get with people who have covered video games for a long time, that we grew up not seeing them actually ever play them, and then you see them play them, and then you're like, oh. That's the way it was for me a lot. Like, a lot of them just really bad at it, and people have gotten really used to seeing streamers who are very good at them. And they see, oh, streamer's good at it, so I'm going to listen to them more than person who does games journalism. Because there's plenty of people in games journalism who are also very good at games. Like Jeff Grubb is really good at games. You can watch him stream them, and you're like, oh yeah, he's really good at them. Like, there's still plenty. I think there's just been enough where it became the narrative that all game journalist mode and all that type of stuff. So that does not help either in the casual paying attention and the hardcore paying attention. Yeah.
And it's, like anecdotally, when I went to do the Indiana Jones preview, certainly on my session, and granted there are multiple sessions, I ended up getting to a point where they were like, oh, we didn't think anyone would actually get this far in this demo session. This might break. And I was surrounded by like 3 developers watching, like seeing if I would completely break the build.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it wasn't hard to get here, guys.
Oh, I
mainlined like a motherfucker.
So I got through all the content in the Dragon Age, the Inquisition. I got through all of it with like half the time to go. I don't know. It's a weird thing because people will just make huge sweeping generalizations, and I don't think it helps that some of the louder voices in gaming are also just kind of annoying people. Like, that always comes down to it. Like, it's not like an XQC or an Asmongold. Like, their brand is being an asshole and being annoying as shit, but trying to be funny and informative with it, even though I can't stand watching a second of either of them. But when it comes to games journalism, everyone just lumps in, especially that whole SF cabal thing. Like, they really think everyone is just one hive mind. And I think it's hurt things a lot. To the point where most people who cover games can't make any goddamn money, so they end up either going into something else or going into PR at different companies. Like, that's one of the main things we see. It just ends up being a funnel to go to the parts of gaming where you can actually make money. Just not covering them and talking about them. Like,
it's impossible to make money. That's why card games are being made, people. Like, we need to find a way to survive. Other websites have found ways. And some of them are quite smart about it, but not many, you know. It is what it is. But the other thing I want to talk about with Clair Obscur and Oblivion and South of Midnight and Doom next month and Blueprints and holy crap, Game Pass is like on fire.
Yeah, Jez
right
just
now.
put out an editorial about it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I was thinking of doing the same. If there's like any argument to be made, like, and the beauty of it is, at least from my perspective, is like Oblivion, I wouldn't have rushed out to buy it, right? But I got to just download it and experience it. Like, okay, cool.
You didn't support the devs. In fact, you spit in their face. And
no, the devs have been paid by a Game Pass deal. That's I don't care about that side of things. Like, if it's a truly indie dev, yeah, I'll put my money where my mouth is. But like, they've been paid. It's fine. But like that and Blueprints, and South of Midnight, and with Doom, and there were all these little games as well that
Lonely Mountains you just did. Like,
yeah,
there's so. If you go back, and it's the thing that kills me, because people will say, like, I saw Dom's playing saying like they just haven't been consistent with releases because everyone always looks at first party when the actual people that use this platform as their main platform don't care who published the game. It's if it's in Game Pass accounts. So like somebody who played 35 hours of Sniper Elite Resistance and loved it, that counts. It doesn't matter that Rebellion put it out. They loved Atomfall, another Rebellion game. It doesn't matter it wasn't Microsoft, but the entire industry revolves around A versus B comparisons. Sometimes A, V, B, C. Like it's always comparative shit. Even just comparing Game Pass this year is way better than last year. Like it always has to be this easy, monkey brain comparison shit that can generate engagement. Because again, no one's going to talk about Clair Obscur and make a bunch of money. If they talk about Clair Obscur being destroyed by Oblivion, they might get some engagement and make some money. And it's the way the entire industry revolves, and it's both an industry made and fan problem, because the fans just don't click on game coverage very often. They click on, like, the Oblivion is out now article got like 300 views, but the Oblivion is 120 gigs leak got 13,000. The Oblivion leak, other thing I did was 24,000. But then the actual game comes out, and people just go play it. Like, oh shit, it's out. I saw the headline. I don't have to click that. They go play it. So everyone's always just jumping from rumor to rumor, and it is depressing, and why we love our patrons, because again, the patrons are the only reason we are able to still do any reviews or shows like this, because this show doesn't make any money, even though we did have a couple of super chats from Mohammed Sherez. We did ignore.
We did. Mohammed Sherez did pop in earlier because Nick was here and he had a little fangirl moment.
And then he did another one.
He said, I see Nicholas Baker super chat, and then 92% on Metacritic for Clair Obscur is insane. That's what I mean. Like, it's
the right genre.
Teams.
As we say, there are publishers and there are genres, and JRPG is always more forgiven than other genres.
I don't know if Patreon member and superstar Crowd56 is watching right now. But I've just been pinged just to double check, literally while we're doing it, and I'm so keen to get the American shipments going. I'm just checking that outside of him having a very cool actual name, that he's got the right thing and he's got labeled correctly.
He is a Croat.
He's a badass. Like Game Pass is on fire, and I think anybody that poo-poos it just isn't being realistic with how crazy the world is, how expensive everything is. Little young 16-year-old me would have killed someone to have a service like this when I was growing up. Like, holy, the amount of things I've tried.
I wanted the
just
Sega
dipped my
channel.
toe in and then fell in love with. It's just so good. I adore it. It's such a great service.
I just redeemed a key that'll probably get me yelled at by some people, but I'm going to do a review of La Chimera, even though it's not coming to Xbox or PlayStation anytime soon.
I picked up Bionic Bay on Steam because for 15 quid. You know how I feel about those kinds of games. And apologies, due to my health issues yesterday, I did not get to wrap up and publish my review of Once Upon a Puppet. I will endeavour to get that out today.
I wonder if anyone else
I've
did.
been playing through it. Yeah, there's a few out there, I think, but not many.
I still had one of the only reviews for Oblivion.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted clicks. I've never actually even played the game.
Before
Once
that's
Upon a
clipped, he's
Puppet
being
has
sarcastic.
a 6.9 on OpenCritic with 5 reviews.
Sounds about right. Yeah, like it's good times, people. I hope everybody's enjoying
The last 12 months of Game Pass have just been cuckoo loco. You want to quickly go over it? Just to give people an idea. Because I can do 2024 in Game Pass and get my article up, and then 2025 in Game Pass.
Do April to April, because I think that's a key metric. So year to year.
XboxEra, I wrote. Better than Edra. Every game confirmed release for 2024 in Game Pass. Boop, boop. Boop, boop. There it is. And there's 2025 right there. I don't even have to find it. So if we go from April to April. So last April was, Jesus Christ, there was a lot in last April. Mostly old stuff. Newer was Harold Halibut, Ayuden Chronicle, 100 Heroes, and Manor Lords, which was really big at the time. It's still only PC because it's friggin' one guy. This one just left, the Rewinder. But like you look at what's in here, and it doesn't matter if it's new for most people because they've got an enormous backlog and probably haven't played most of this, like Jedi Survivor going in. Little Kitty Big City, Senua Saga Hellblade 2, Galacticare. Humanity was a day one port. Like you keep Still Wakes the Deep, which I thought was absolutely amazing.
It won BAFTAs. Yep. Congrats to the devs and secret mode for that one.
But like most of these, only one of them has been published by Microsoft. So is that the only one that counts?
That's so dumb.
I know, like Neon White and Chia were day one ports. Magical Delicacy was day one. Flock was day one. Dungeons of Hinterberg day one. Flintlock day one. Kanutsugami day one. Then it really slowed down because I think when they had this many things all hit, as we saw with February of this year, when they have an enormous amount and they think people are going to be stuck on those for a while, they will slow down a little bit. Because like last August, very light. Creatures of Ava, a very good game, but I think that was the only day one. And Star Trucker day one, Age of Mythology, Frostpunk 2, Era History Untold, only PC to start. There's also like a lot of older, bigger backlog things which people also always clamor for, like Sifu going in finally. Yeah, MechWarrior 5 Clans, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. That's when Dead Island 2 finally hit PC as well. Metal Slug Tactics, like, God, there is too much. Even just thinking of constantly going through this, Indiana Jones in December, then January had the friggin' Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, Orcs Must Die Death Trap, Eternal Strands, Lonely Mountain Snow Riders, Sniper Elite Resistance, and Citizen Sleeper 2. So then they slowed it down a little in February because that was a lot. And they also had Avowed. And then they put in Balatro, which I think is probably eating up a lot of time. March was also a little slow. You got 33 Immortals. You got Mullet Magic as a day one port. Atomfall was like the big day one. And then obviously April has just been crazy. And you can see I gave up on putting links in because it got to be a pain in the ass. So only one has a link.
It's mad. It's mad.
And there's already this much for the rest of the year. Like May's already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things set. June's got 2. July's got 1. Like when you're that far out, it has been nonstop for people that don't have a ton of time. Like even just as Amit Kumar says, Eternal Strands was amazing. I loved it. It's also going to take most people like 20, 30 hours, and that might be their gaming for a month. Like, and that's just one game. I don't think most people who cover games, and again, like us, who can get most of them for free for coverage purposes, will ever truly understand the value of it. They meme on it as a value, but the people who still have to buy everything know, it is actually that big of a value.
It's worthwhile to me, actually. Thanks.
Like if you have the type that, and as Phil said last week, which people jumped on immediately, as he's always said, if you don't buy many games, it's probably not for you. But if you do buy a lot and you do like playing a lot of stuff, That's who it's for.
It's yeah. And it always blows my mind when you see people be like, support the devs, buy those games. Yeah, you can, but as all things in life, worry about number one. Worry about my wallet. In fact, everybody worry about my wallet. My wallet's the most important wallet. But yeah, Game Pass, man. What a service. It's good stuff. Next up in news, Matt Piscatella from Circana has been sharing some details of March's United States video game market highlights. March 2025 projected US consumer spending on video game hardware, content, and accessories declined 6% when compared to last year to just $4.7 billion. And Assassin's Creed Shadows, which I think we reported on XboxEra.com anyway, debuted as the best-selling game of March, ranking second year to date, just behind Monster Hunter Wilds.
Mm-hmm. And it's a lot better game than Monster Hunter. I stand by that.
Fortnite led all titles in monthly active users on both Xbox and PlayStation.
Yep.
MLB The Show 25 ranked as the second best-selling game of March and led all titles in full game dollar sales on PlayStation platforms. What else?
Hardware all down. Switch down 37%, PlayStation 5 down 29%, and Xbox down 7%.
Wow.
And Xbox
it's not hard to go down from fuck all, is it?
Well, it's funny. That was Insider Gaming put a Series X on the news story about hardware being down. I'm like, it was down by far the lowest, but sure. It's the one that people like shitting on the most. But also, half of all PlayStation solds were digital only. You can obviously get the disc drive if you want, but that was like 70 or 80% of Xboxes were digital only. Because that's all they're restocking, I think.
Yeah.
I had a weird conversation with Jez where it was like, he was talking about how they've been seeming to have struggles restocking. And I know he was intimating it's because they're putting it on the cloud. It's like, yeah, they're holding off a lot to not bother to restock because they're putting those chips into the cloud. And then I think it just got cross wires. I was agreeing with him.
Okay.
I think that they're not having issues making them or restocking them. They are choosing to go to the cloud because they're growing so much on cloud and PC. As part of this report is that game subscriptions have been going up consistently every month since Call of Duty Black Ops 6 hit Game Pass.
Yeah.
But he's not saying Game Pass has gone up. He just said subscriptions have gone up, which includes Game Pass. So I did have to fix our article, which said Game Pass is going up. It's like, it probably is, but this doesn't say that. This says it's part of everything going up.
Yeah. Indeed. It's good. It's interesting.
Travis with a hard-hitting question. Who's the clown that runs Insider Gaming? Who is it, John? Give him his full title.
I'll tell you exactly who it is. It's the biggest journalist in the world, Tom Henderson. All right. I'm obligated to say that.
Yeah. Overall, it was a mostly down month outside of subscription services. And once all the tariff shit starts hitting everyone in a couple weeks, it's going to get really bad.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Because most people are like, nothing's really changed yet. And it's like, yeah, because everyone's still at stock. They haven't been getting stock for weeks now. And give it a few more weeks, there's going to be nothing for truckers to drive around. And you're going to go to Walmart and it's going to mostly be empty.
It's going to be like, I saw someone saying, now that Trump folded on China and kind of walked back the 145%.
Then he bipolared and unwalked it back. And then he bipolared and walked it back again.
Yeah. All of those things. But like people being like, even if it's 45%, you're still going to feel that you at home. Like you're going to feel that change. Oh man, the world is crazy. But I'll tell you what I have in stock that's quite cool. I have this. Ooh, this is the Nacon Revolution X. Nacon Revolution X Unlimited. This is a very fancy PC and Xbox controller, and I have to, I'm currently testing it for review purposes, but I have to kind of show off some of the features here. It has some switches on the back here. So yes, you can switch the triggers to be mouse clicks instead of, triggers. It's got a mode switcher that switches it from wireless with their dongle, which works on Xbox, to Bluetooth, to hardwired if you want. And it's got profiles with a screen here. So at the moment you can see the Xbox symbol It's linked to my PC, but as an Xbox controller rather than as a PC-specific controller. But you can build profiles on the app on PC, save them on here, take them over to the Xbox, and it all works. I really like this as a big nerd is it comes with weights that you can pull these handles off the back and weight. I like a weighty controller myself, but it's really nice and I am quite enjoying it. It's also got some extra buttons on the back here, not paddles, but you've got buttons there and buttons there, so you can kind of. But this is pretty. The build quality is excellent. I am very impressed with it.
I looked at the original Revolution X, and it was all right. Not the Pro.
What's really impressed me is it's all Hall effect, and I understand that even the triggers and the bumpers are
unlimited.
More than your standard kind of like parts. They've all been specifically kind of built to last.
Yeah, because that's a big thing with actual Hall effects. Are pretty infamous for breaking a lot.
So
I will say the one I reviewed was $100. That one's $200 US. Just to let people know.
It is expensive, but you get a lot of bang, I think, for your.
It has one review on their website somehow.
Yeah, I think that, it came out, and you can talk about it from the 23rd.
It's a customer review who put it up a month ago. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but I think that they shipped these a little bit later than perhaps they would have liked for that embargo. But regardless, I will get some hours in across PC and Xbox and take some nice photos and let you know my final thoughts. But if you're on the lookout for a really fancy high-end elite style pad where the bumpers won't break on you, this might be a good shout. So we'll see how it holds up. Speaking of Xbox and controller apps and things of that nature, good news for anybody with I think a 2022
like this one
LG TV. Yeah, like I haven't checked my lounge TV, but it is.
My TV is not hardwired in for internet, so I'm not going to bother because it feels horrible over Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So,
but the Xbox app is now available on LG smart TVs from 2022 onwards, starting today or yesterday even.
And they're gonna. So I think right now it's mostly the newest, and they're going backwards over time. I'm not 100% sure, but they will be getting to more and more throughout the summer.
I feel like it depends upon what version of WebOS, which is LG's operating system, they're running on.
Yeah, like my C2 is already updated to it, so it is there.
Yeah, like I feel like because my TV was such an expensive monstrosity, 86 inches, that it's running the best OS. Like they packed in all the extra bits, like to power it. So I feel like it would probably get the update, but I haven't actually checked myself. But then I'm like, how much do I actually care about testing that? Like,
and plus, your Xbox is right below that TV. You're not the target audience, anyways. But
exactly right. But for those that own it, or like we mentioned it when we were chatting with Phil. There was a radio presenter here in the UK that completed the entirety of the Indiana Jones game by playing via cloud. There are people out there that just want to just consume a game like they would a movie and don't care about the hardware wars and the sales and how much stock is there. They don't give a fuck. They just want to play games every now and then.
We can't compare it to the Razer V3 because sadly the Razer never sent me the V3.
That's exactly right. We can't compare it.
They were supposed to.
Maybe Razer should do that, and then we'll have a little.
They said they were going to, but then they kind of stopped responding.
Ooh, sad face. But yeah. Anyway, good for cloud. Good for cloud gaming if you're into that sort of thing. In other news, you're especially excited because the Division 2 Battle for Brooklyn is coming out in May, according to Ubisoft, and it looks pretty neat, right? And you're a big Division 2 fan. You're a Division 2 guy. Are you excited for this one?
I immediately messaged my Ubisoft PR contact who put me in touch with the right people, and I'm on the list. So nice. If there is early access, I'll have a review ready for embargo. If there isn't, as happens with expansions from time to time, because expansions can be a pain in the ass to try and give early access to the way DLC works on console. The moment it's out for someone to review it, it goes live for everyone. They don't have a way to only make it available for that person. You have to whitelist your system and give you that build specifically, which can be a pain in the butt. But yeah, they had a whole thing trying to make it easier for people to come back, which is always a big thing. Lots and lots of stuff. It's crazy. Like, this game came out 2019, was kind of dead by 2020, mid 2020, and then it went on sale, and so many people bought it and started playing it that they spun up another team and got out Warlords of New York in 2021, which is a really good expansion, which went back to New York kind of in the summer, I think. This is heading back to the Brooklyn part of New York from the first game in some other ways, but in the fall. First time we're getting autumn, which is what I think Division Heartlands would have been, because we've had winter, we had a little tiny bit of spring early in Division 2, but that's mostly summer. So now we're going to autumn, and they are working on Division 3. So I'm very happy. I've got all my builds, and it's going to suck to have to see how I redo them. But there'll be new gear and new other stuff to figure out anyways, but I am very, very excited. Ubisoft Massive does not miss. They have missed sales targets, but their games have always been good. The Division 1's great. The Division 2 is amazing. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is an amazing accomplishment because that IP sucks, yet that game is amazing. And Star Wars Outlaws is great. And they've had another team working on this expansion while they're also spinning up and doing work on Division 3. So I am happy.
So, man, I'm actually delighted to play Division 3 if and when it comes around. I enjoyed my time with the Division 1. I never got a chance to try Division 2.
It was very good through the main campaign, but then they didn't bring over all the stuff that made Division 1 so replayable that they had added over time. Now the Division 2 is insanely replayable because they've added it all back and put in new stuff. And now that we're bigger and bigger, and it is funny looking back, like sites that were the size we were years ago that didn't get Clair Obscur, among other things. Like, I'm pretty sure I could get us multiple Division keys and we could review it as a group, and like that's what I want to do with like Gears and Halo in the future. Is like I want us to review it as a group.
It's so hard sometimes to do stuff like that, but it's always the dream, right?
When we have the money and we can each buy DaVinci Studio, and then we can do cloud-based editing and all work on something together, even easier. Just $300 a person, unfortunately.
Yeah, expensive. I haven't downloaded it yet, but I have got code and access to it, so I'll probably give it a go this evening. I've got a few jobs to wrap up as it's my son's birthday. I've got to kind of prep the house for birthday celebrations this weekend. But Marathon, the alpha is live, and I believe they changed the rules and said that it can be spoken about and discussed. You've played it. How you feeling about Marathon? Oh dear.
I talked with some people I know that are very big Bungie fans, and there are people who are really enjoying it. I don't get what the loop is. I don't get why I would keep doing this. Gameplay's okay. It's a little slow because everything seems tied to one cooldown. Like all your movement stuff and your melee is all tied to like the same overheat cooldown. The shooting does not feel anything like a Bungie game before.
That worries me.
It's super not punchy. That makes any sense, but it was a very early game weapons. Like I played for an hour or two.
Okay. Did you play with a team?
No.
With people you know?
Nope.
I wonder if like that. That's always key for me.
Well, it helps, but I have no idea why would I keep, like, what's the incentive? What's the loop? Is there any story? Like it feels, and from what I played, and it was less than him, but Timur Hussein said it just feels underbaked on everything except for the shooting, because it feels fine, but everything around it, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. So that's what I need to see. I'm not saying they can't fix it. It's only an alpha. Like, it's ugly. I don't think it looks good at all. Because the colors are super muted, despite it being very colorful. Everything's very bland looking. But that's the type of thing that they might not have HDR done. Like, they might be going through, touching it up. Not going to judge it on that. Super harsh. The sound and the vibes are cool. The sound effects aren't great, but again, it's alpha. You never know where things are at. I need to see what the loop is that would incentivize me to spend money on this with a group of friends to go and play it. And
maybe we I'll download it and then we'll hop on and team up and see if maybe we can do like a Hangouts because we're allowed to stream it, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of looting, like a lot. It's like the main thing you do, which I was also finding kind of boring.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
Interesting. Well, we'll see if we can do a Hangouts at some point. I don't know when, to be honest. I'll find a way.
Sometime before it ends on the 4th of May.
Okay, yeah, there'll be time before that. Okay, that's good. Next up, good lord, we're running out of time here, and I'm going to hammer through these. Sony unceremoniously announced.
Guess they're not doing a show.
Yotei is coming out on October 2nd. They just did it via a tweet.
A blog post, yeah. It's very similar feeling to the plot of Assassin's Creed Shadows. You're going down a list of people, the Onryo list, which is kind of like the one of the main mechanics of Shadows. It looks very pretty. I'm sure people really like it.
It does look absolutely gorgeous.
Really good looking game. October 2nd is when it's coming out. Right around marathon time, which is really weird. I do worry about. I have zero worries about this game. I have worries about marathon and how bad the management at Bungie has been. Because I won't complain. I would blame Sony for getting duped. Because this looks really good, but now you're putting it out right next to the other thing you have. Because you got Death Stranding in I think May, nothing June, July, August, then very end of September and very early October are your next two things. So it's like, is there no way Marathon could have been a little earlier?
And where is GTA 6?
That's why I think everything's getting. Nothing wants to be late October, early November for Call of Duty.
Either that or
GTA
6 is delayed, and Sony are like, yeah, okay, October's fine now. Like,
no, because like I always felt GTA was going to be end of the year, and everyone's putting all their stuff in late September, early October, or earlier. No one said we're out later than that. Like, it's because you already have Call of Duty, which is hard enough, which is the main thing you avoid every year. And then you have GTA 6 on top of it, probably in a close time frame to that. So everyone is just like, we are not going to go anywhere near mid-October on if we can avoid it at all. So this looks really good.
It does look really good.
The first one was good. It was a good game. I liked it.
Oh, YouTube just crashed.
Likes doing that.
Elsewhere, RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business got a story trailer. It's available on YouTube right now. It's out on July 17th. So if you want to relive the raid and blast your way up a cell block tower, or relive Dread, whichever blasting a cell block tower to bits with guns takes your fancy, you can do that as RoboCop coming July 17th.
Yeah, and this one it's also jumping back to Murphy a bit as well. So you'll play as Alex Murphy and some flashbacks and stuff. But this looks real good. It is an expand alone. It's not a full-on sequel. Reusing the first game's assets and stuff and going in and making this whole new thing. And I cannot freaking wait for that one as well.
Just good old-fashioned 80s style dumb fun. Why not?
It was an amazingly fun 7.
Yeah. Good times. Frostpunk 2 is coming to Xbox and Game Pass in summer of 2025.
Yeah.
And they've announced a new Frostpunk 1886. I don't know what developers' obsessions is with this year. Like, we had the Order 1886 and now we have Frostpunk 1886, but it's coming in 2027.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're just kind of letting people know that it's I'm fine with it because it lets you recruit for it openly.
Yeah, I know, but I'm like, okay. So that's been announced.
Yeah, because Frostpunk 2 had only been PC Game Pass. It had only been on PC and in Game Pass there, so
it's coming to console.
And if I had to guess, it'll be like Frostpunk 1 and it'll be a console edition. So it probably wouldn't be Play Anywhere. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Because they had to change the first game so much to work on a console.
Trav in the chat, Nintendo announced Super Mario 1886.
I don't believe it because they don't have any games, which is really weird because they're Nintendo.
Yeah. Oh, worth mentioning, Nintendo's pre-orders are open now for the Switch 2 in the US.
We're open 11 hours ago, so they're probably gone.
Yeah, they're all gone now. Sorry.
Supposedly they're doing 6 to 8 million consoles at launch, which is the most ever.
Wow. And yet there's not enough in Japan. Apparently 20
It was 2.2 million. 2.2 million people signed up to try and get early stuff. Who met the requirements that you needed to have to sign up to Nintendo. And that's not retailers. That's just Nintendo.
That's crazy.
Yeah. People just like getting robbed.
Yeah.
Final news story before John has to go.
Final news story.
Sad one.
This one hurts. This was an exclusive via Mike Straw over at Insider Gaming. An unannounced Blade Runner game from SuperMassive has been cancelled. Apparently that was in development there. Insider Gaming
for 4 years.
Blade Runner Time to Live was a character-focused cinematic action-adventure game where you were the only Blade Runner left in 2065. The game would feature a 10 to 12-hour single-player story that, per documents sent to Insider Gaming under the condition they not be made public, involved a compelling story blending the philosophical themes of Blade Runner with kinetic action-adventure gameplay. The game began pre-production in September of 2024, with the core team comprised of those who worked on
Who said it was 4 years on?
Pre-production was scheduled to end in March 2025, with the end of prototyping by September of this year. A full release was planned for September 2027 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PC, and the Gen 10 Xbox and PlayStation systems. It was set to have a full development budget of roughly $45 million, with $9 million of that being used for external performance capture and acting talent. What wasn't included in the budget, however, was original music production, image rights, and usage fees for performance, QA, and game testing, localization, and any future DLC. That's a bummer.
Yeah, they said it was because of the rights holders, mainly. So, cool. But if you want some funnier news, Street Fighter 6 on Switch 2 uses 540p rendering, then DLSS to hit 1080p. The PS4 renders it at native 1080p, according to Digital Foundry. So enjoy that news, Nick.
Wow. Well, I thought...
Oh, no, it's just stronger. People think DLSS is magic, but it has a cost. Like, the newer DLSS looks amazing, but it's way more cost than the old DLSS. Yeah. So even if you're going from 540p to 1080p, it's going to kind of look like shit in practice on a big screen.
The Digital Foundry said it was reasonably okay.
Yeah, reasonably okay, but not actual 1080p is what I mean. Like, you always can tell in the long run.
But yeah, there you go. That's all the news, people. We'll be back on Saturday. Now, it's worth mentioning the XboxEra podcast is on Saturday. Nick's got a new room, and I have asked the lovely Khalif Adams to see if he would want to join us for the show. And I let the team know, hey, I have invited Khalif Adams. Nick, not necessarily an expert in English language, has just assumed that is happening. Either that or Khalif has spoken to him directly. I don't know. Hopefully, Khalif is good to do it, but hopefully, maybe. Otherwise, it will just us chickens. But we'll be back on Saturday for the XboxEra podcast, where you can jump in and witness Nick talking about his room for no less than 25 minutes. And he'll probably show
his foot for another 7 hours.
Yeah. So if you want to tune in for that, join us on Saturday.
Breaking news. Grandma, no! Launches 22nd of May on PC.
Cool.
I just got an email.
That's fun. All right. That's it. Everybody be good. Go play some video games. Go play Clair Obscur. Go play Oblivion. Go play whatever the
No, go buy them. You only play them on Game Pass. You're shitting on the devs.
Sorry, devs. We'll see you next time. We'll be back for more headlines on Tuesday. Except, Jesse, we won't. Unless Ursel can do it. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Well, I've already have something scheduled for Tuesday anyway, so we were going to talk about that. I have a thing at 10:30.
Interesting. Okay, let's talk in a moment. Catch you later, chat. Much love. Hit that like button. Ciao for now.
Bye-bye.